So yesterday what we discussed about object level security with the help of profile. So what we say about profile? Profile is a collection of rules what user can perform in our Salesforce account. So if I'm logging in Salesforce, what I can do, what I cannot do. So everything controlled by profile. Profile is a set of rules and regulations user can perform in Salesforce instance. So now the thing is in this profile, right? We are having many, many, many set of rules available here. Yesterday we have defined login IP ranges and then login hours. So today what we can do, we can go through the remaining permissions. We'll go through the one by one permission. So here, right, we are having a password policies. So for example, we consider as an Infosys team, Infosys company. Within the Infosys company, all employees using Salesforce application for their internal purpose. So everyone log in into their Salesforce account. The thing is, so within the Infosys, it is having a multiple sub teams. So like all the Infosys employees may not come under like a same team. So they are having a different teams. Each and every team having their own set of rules and then their regulations. So for example, networking team, they have their own login hours and then login timings. And then IT team, they have their own login hours and then login timings. So the thing is, in the case of like security team and in the case of like engineering team, so for each and every team they have their own security, their own like rules. So similar way in this profile, right, we are having individual password policies. For example, one set of one team, they need password update in every 90 days or maybe like every 30 days. So after 30 days, they need to update their password. They cannot use old password. Automatically, password should expire. Generally, what happens if you're using in a bank account, our net banking credentials, our net banking password should automatically update within 90 days or like within 6 months or maybe like within a month. Because of security policies, our password should update, should modify within 1 month or like 90 days or 180 days. Depending upon the banking, they are going to ask us to, they simply ask us to modify our password. So if you would like to define such kind of password permissions, we can configure in our profile level. So now I'm simply modifying, simply click on edit this profile. And then we'll go through each and every feature of these password policies. So here what happened, right? Passwords automatically expires in 90 days, 30 days, 180 days, 1 year, and then never expires. For example, whoever like having this profile, those users, they should modify their password within 30 days. If you would like to define like this, then we can set 30 days as a user password expires period. So if you would like to give 90 days, you can simply select this option. Then automatically what happens? So after 90 days, your password will automatically expire. You need to reconfigure your password. You need to reconfigure your password. If you would like to set these kind of password expire, you can go to your profile level and then you can add these password expire options here. So, and then we are having one more thing, enforce password history. So this password history is basically, for example, now I am using my password is Sri@123. Okay. So in next 30 days, my password expired and then I am trying to use same password. Okay. Or maybe like some different password. So generally what happened, if you're like trying to use some different password, it will accept. Okay. In next month, again, my password expired and I'm trying to use my previous password. I'm trying to use previous password. So here, if I defined 3 passwords remembered in the sense, you cannot reuse your last 3 passwords. You cannot reuse your last 3 passwords. So now my password is basically, so Sri@123. So it is going to expire in this month end, 31st Jan. So at the time, what I can do, I'm going to give password as Sri123 @ So these 3123 at the rate will expire 28 or like 1st of March, 1st of March. At the time, if I'm like trying to give again the same password, 3 at the rate 123, then it will throw an error. So last three passwords, in the sense, you cannot reuse your last three passwords. If you would like to go with one password or like two password, three password, whatever the number you have specified here, by default, it won't accept your last three passwords. Last three passwords. And then if you give like a 4 or 5, whatever the number you have specified here, right? You cannot reuse this many passwords. If I'm using no passwords remembers in the sense, then what you can do, you can reuse your previous password. Now I'm earlier my password is 3123 at the rate. Now I'm trying to modify 3 at the rate 123. So you can reuse your previous password as well if you define no passwords remembered. And then the next feature is minimum password length. So minimum password length in the sense, so here you should give at least 8 characters. So whatever the number you have specified, you need to give at least 8 characters or 7 characters or 10 characters, 11 characters, whatever the number you have specified, you need to give those many characters. And then password complexity. So here password complexity is basically like no restriction. You can give anything like numbers, alphabets, whatever you want, you can give. But I would like to go with numbers and then alphanumeric. That means characters and then numbers. Then you go with the second option. If I would like to go with more strong, so alphanumeric as well as special characters, then you go with the third option. So then after lower case and then uppercase letters, you go with this fourth option. Lowercase, uppercase uh, along with the special characters. Then you go with the last second option, and you cannot use like sequence numbers at the time. You can go with this fifth option. So whatever the complexity do you want to define, you can configure this one as well. Okay. So if you define these settings, right, no need to implement any custom functionality. By default, whenever user trying to reset their password, automatically all these rules applicable to the corresponding user. Okay. So no need to write any code for this one. No need to write any functionality. So if you simply select, just we are like modifying our profile. We are not implementing any code here. Okay. We simply modifying the existing profile. If you modify it, automatically this rule will applicable to the corresponding user. Okay. So then after password question requirement. So if you would like to go with any security question, you need to go with this option. And then maximum invalid login attempts. Maximum invalid login attempts. So generally what happened, right? If you're like trying to log in your Salesforce account, maybe you forget your password. Then if you give number as 3, 5, 10, for example, if I give time as 3, then after three failure attempts, automatically your Salesforce account will be locked. Okay. So these lockout period is basically, you can define it here. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, forever must be reset by admin. That means if you're like trying to log in with 3 failure attempts, then automatically your Salesforce account will be locked. After 3 attempts, even you are like trying to use a correct username and password, it will throw an error. So your Salesforce account locked by 15 minutes. Generally, even we are using an iPhone, right? If you're like giving wrong PIN number, automatically after 3 attempts, 4 attempts, our phone will be locked. So after 1 minute, it is allowing us to enter PIN. It is allowing us to enter the PIN. Similar way here as well. If you would like to go with the maximum invalid login attempts, how can we define? So how many attempts we can give? You can simply define it here. 3, 5, 10, and then no limit. No limit in the sense, so you can try n number of times. Okay. So depending upon our requirement, we can give any of these number. Okay. But you cannot, here we have a disadvantage is you cannot configure like I would like to go with 4. It is not possible. I would like to go with 8 or 6. It is not possible. So whatever the options we have defined here, right? These options only we need to use it. And then the next one is a lockout effect period. So if you would like to like lock 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes, you can go with this option. And if you are using a third option, right? So one of your Salesforce admin team, they need to reset your password. Okay. So until and unless they are resetting, you are not allowing them to log into the Salesforce. Okay. log into the Salesforce. So if you are giving these option, then only system admin, they can reset your password. Okay. So these options we can give it. So then after like require 1 day password lifetime. So these are we can ignore it. So these are the main features of password we can consider. So someone asking us like define some password policies, then where you need to configure, you can simply go to the corresponding user profile and then you can change the corresponding password policies here. Password policies here. So the next thing here is session settings. Session settings in the sense, for example, I have login my Salesforce and then simply I keep calm and then I'm watching some web series or another thing in another tab. So automatically 2 hours of inactivity, it will automatically expire. Automatically expire. So what is the like expire time period? So those settings also we can configure in our profile. We can configure in our profile. 50 minutes of inactivity, 30 minutes of inactivity, 1 hour, 90 minutes, and 2 hours. So depending upon our requirement, we can give any of these time frame. So automatically it will be logged out. Okay. So it is in another setting. So then after we are having like the main feature here is the object permissions. Object permissions in our profile level. So here, right, you can easily read out what are the permissions available. Read permission, create permission, edit permission, delete permission, view all, and then modify all. View all, and then modify all. So here, read, create, edit. So simply we called as CRUD, CRUD. So we simply called as CRUD permissions. So read, create, edit, and then delete. So these permissions we can configure in our profile level. For example, I need to give only read access of account object. I need to give only read access of account object. Then simply what I can do, I can unselect remaining checkboxes. Only I am going to enable these read checkbox. Then automatically what happened? If I'm trying to create a new account, it won't allow us to create. Even the new button also not available. Now what happened? If I'm choosing this one, then I'm getting in a button, new account button I'm getting here. So I need to refresh this page. If I'm choosing an account tab, then by default, I will get a new button here. But the thing is, if I have removed these create permission, if I have unselect these create permission checkbox, then automatically what happened? For these user, whoever having this profile, for these profile user, new button won't available. So new button like automatically disappear. Automatically disappear. They cannot create any of the account record. So similar way, if you would like to disable edit permissions also, you can unselect these edit permission access. So similar way, delete. So if you're like using delete, but if you would like to disable delete permissions, then you can simply unselect these delete permission checkbox. So along with this, we are having a view all access. View all access in the sense, so whoever having this profile, they can read all the data. They can read all the data. So they cannot modify, they cannot delete, but they can read the data. So I will play with these objects. So yesterday we have created a student object, right? So here we can play all the things. So we are having student object. Within the student object, right? I am like simply unselecting these checkboxes. So modify all, create permission. I am like unselecting create permission. Then after like edit permission. So if I remove this one, right? We are having read and then view all. So read in the sense like whoever having these permission, they can view the data. They can view school records, but they cannot modify. They cannot modify. View all in the sense, so they can read all people data. All people data. Whoever like creating records in the school object, so they can read all the records of school object. They can read all the records of school object. If you're having only read access, you may be like limited to the specific records. If you're using a view all access, then you can view all the records, entire records of school object. So now I am giving create permission. If I'm giving a create permission, then I'm going to create record in our school object. If I'm like trying to give a delete permission, simply I'm enabling this one, then automatically I can get the delete permission. So edit in the sense, if you would like to modify any of the existing record of school object, then you need these permission. If I'm giving a modify all in the sense, so you can modify your records along with the you can modify other people records as well. Other people records as well. For example, I am one of the employee of I'm one of employee of these school, and then I'm going to create record in school object. Similar way, some another person also creating records in school object. So the thing is, we need to restrict other person. They can just modify their own records. They cannot modify my records. Okay, I need to restrict other person. They can modify their own records, but they cannot modify my records. At the time, what we need to do? We need to simply unselect these modify all permission for other user. Then automatically what happened, right? He cannot modify my records. He can modify his own records. He can modify his own records. So if my profile contain these modify all right, then what happened? I can modify my data along with the I can modify other people data as well. I can modify other people data as well. So these kind of permissions we can enable in our profile level. If you create any of the object, right? If you create any of the object, by default that is available in this profile. So no need to pull and no need to do anything. So if you create any of the object, by default that is available here. All the standard and then custom objects available here. You can modify what type of permission you want. Like if I would like to disable, I would like to enable, what kind of permissions if you would like to disable or enable, you can perform in your profile level. Okay, it is one of the main permission. So main topic we need to remember. So majority of the requirements, right? We will get like disable read permissions or disable edit permissions or disable delete permission to the so and so user, so and so profile. At the time where we need to navigate, simply you can navigate to the profile, the corresponding user profile, and then smart and then click on edit. Then after whatever the permissions they don't want, we need to simply unselect the corresponding permissions. If you would like to give the permission, if you would like to give access, then navigate to the profile and then click on edit. Then after go to the object level and then give appropriate checkbox. Then automatically they will get an access. Okay, so these we call as like so as of now in profile level, what we discussed about login hours. So then after so the next thing is IP address, login IP address. So then after what we discussed about the password policies. And then session settings. Then after object access. So we simply called as CRUD, create, read, edit, and then delete. We simply called as the CRUD permission. Okay. So CRUD in the sense create, read, edit, and then delete. So these we simply called as CRUD permissions. So these we can achieve in our object level, in our profile level. So now coming to remaining permissions. So here we have defined like custom objects. So that is available here. And then all the standard objects that is available here. If you go here, right, we can easily get all the standard objects. What all are the standard objects? And then here, all the custom objects that is available here. All the custom objects available here. So now I would like to go with other permissions. The general user permissions and then system permissions, you can ignore it. So you can go with remaining permissions like these custom tab. So custom tab permissions we need to discuss. So these custom tab in the sense, so now I am able to log in and then I can see accounts, batch 27, batch 25, contacts, opportunities, and then student tabs here. Okay, here just remember tab is different, tab is different, and then object is different. Object is different. So if you create any of the object, it is allowing us to create the data. Okay. But if you would like to view the data and if you would like to view the object, you need to create a tab for that. You need to create a tab for that. So then only it is available. So if any of the object maybe like not available here, maybe it's not available here. So that means, first of all, we need to check whether that object having tab or not. So generally what happened, right? Some of the people, they may be creating one of the custom object, but they forget to create a tab. Then automatically what happened, right? It won't allow us to create records from Salesforce UI. UI in the sense user interface. If you log in here and then you cannot create any data from here. You cannot create any data from our Salesforce account. Okay, if you forget to create a Salesforce tab. So now the thing is, if you would like to create a tab for any of the profile, any of the object, you miss to create a tab. And if you would like to create after creating your object, then what you can do, again, simple thing, click on setup, click on setup. Click on setup here. Within the setup, what we can do, we can go for tab settings. So if you enter tab, right, you will get the corresponding tab option available here. So once object is created, and if you forget to create a tab, then you need to go to the tabs, and within the tab, you need to create the corresponding object tab. So if you forget to create the tab, right, object will be there, but object is there, but the thing is you cannot access your object within our Salesforce UI, within our Salesforce UI. So for the purpose, what you can do, you can simply click on setup and then go to the tabs. Within the tab, you can create a custom tab for your object. So now I'm navigating to the tabs. Just 1 minute. Perhaps we need to navigate here. So here, right, we can simply click on new, and then so you can create tab for specified object. If you forget to create a tab for any of the object, so you can simply go to the tabs option and then click on new. Then you will get appropriate object name. Then after, you can create tab for that. As of now, we have created tabs for all the objects. That's why it is empty. Otherwise, what happened, right? We will get list of objects that is not having tab for that. So whatever the object you want, you can select here and then select a tab style. Then after, you can simply click on next. So automatically these tab will be created. Automatically this tab will be created. So the tab is basically just providing an interaction between our Salesforce user interface to the backend object. This tab is basically providing an interaction between our Salesforce user interface to the backend object. With the help of these tabs, you can read all the data, all the data, all the data of these objects, and then you can create the data, you can modify the data, everything you can perform with the help of these tabs. Okay. So if you forget to create a tab, then navigate to the tabs and then go to the like a new option, custom object tab, and then select the corresponding object, select the tab style, and then click on next. Automatically tab will be created. So now these tab having three types of settings in our profile level. These tabs having three types of settings in our profile level. So the thing is, if I'm selecting these app launcher, so these 9 dot symbol we called as app launcher. If I'm selecting this option, then automatically what happened? It is going to display all the tabs available in our Salesforce. Now, if I'm using a view all, then automatically it is going to display all the tabs available in our Salesforce. If you see here, right? So many tabs available. But here what happened? We are able to see hardly 5 or 6 tabs only. We can see only 5 or 6 tabs only. Okay. But in backend, how many tabs available? Many tabs available. So why they are going to keep only these tabs in the sense, for example, I am a sales employee. I am a sales employee. I need access to the only account contact, then after opportunity, and then lead. And then lead. I don't need access to the remaining objects. I don't need access to the remaining objects. Similar way, maybe one of the person, he is going to work on support. He's going to work on support or like some service related things he is going to work on. For those employee, right? They need only cases as well as whatever the products they sell. So and then user agreements. So these kind of tabs only they need an access. These kind of tabs only they need an access. So if we are able to display all the tabs here, right? They need to identify, they need to like simply navigate to the each and every tab, and they are going to identify the tab is little bit difficult. So that's why what happened, right? We are having an app. So marketing, community, sales charter, content, sales console, service. So these kind of apps is there. Based on these apps, we are going to display and hide the corresponding tabs. We are going to display and hide these corresponding tabs. So if you would like to show and hide the corresponding tab in our profile level, we are having three options. So default on in the sense, by default, the corresponding tab available in our tab panel. So here, this bar we called as a tab panel. If you would like to display your tab within this tab panel, then what you need to do? You need to give the corresponding object tab setting is default on. Object tab setting is default on. Okay. So for example, if you would like to hide your tab, then what we can do? We are going to use the other option is default off. So default off in the sense, so that is going to hide from here, and that is available in our view all. So here you are able to access your tab. So if I don't want to display the tab completely to the user, I don't want to display tab both in tab panel as well as in app launcher, then what you can do? You can give third option called tab hidden. If you're using a tab hidden, then automatically what happened? It is going to disappear for the user in entire application. So what kind of permissions do you want to give for each and every object? You can configure in our profile level. Okay, like account brands, account, and then so whatever the like objects we have, each and every object associated settings available here. So default on, default off, and then tab hidden. So these three options available. With the help of this one, we can control whatever the tabs we can show, and then whatever the tabs we can hide for the user, we can control it here. Okay. So the tab settings is simple. Like you can simply navigate to the corresponding tab and then you can verify. So generally what happened, right? Maybe any of the user, they may not able to see any tab in our tab panel in the sense. First of all, we need to verify whether the object having tab or not. If that object having tab, the next step is we need to verify tab settings. So whether in their profile, they have an access or not. If they don't have an access, then automatically it will disappear. So you need to enable that. you need to enable that one. If you're using a default on, by default that is available in tab panel. If you're using a default off, that is going to display in app launcher. If you're using tab hidden, that won't available. Okay. So it is a next permissions that we need to give. And the next thing here is we are having a custom app settings. So the next permission is basically these app settings. So here app in the sense, if you see here, right, when we click on app launcher, by default, we will get multiple apps here. Whatever the app you need an access and whatever the app you need to hide. So those settings we can control in our profile level. In these custom app settings, whatever the whatever the apps you need to access and whatever the apps you need to hide, so those settings we can control it here. And when you log in, by default, which tab do you want to display? So the default tab, default app also we can select here. So if you see here, right, we are having a default option. If you enable these options, right, by default, when user login, automatically sales application will open. Automatically sales application will open. For example, I have disabled remaining apps, and then I have access only 4 to 5 apps, and I made sales app is a default. Then automatically what happened? You will get like access to the remaining apps, and when you log in, by default, sales app got selected. So now I'm like navigating to the some sales app. If I'm selecting this one, right, automatically based on these sales app, these tabs it is going to change. I am selecting in a sales app. So if I'm selecting the corresponding app, right, it will navigate to the sales app. So why we need these app in the sense, so each and every employee, they cannot perform all the activities. So whatever the activities they are going to perform based on their department, they are going to assign different applications, different applications. Simply, I'm like selecting a sales tab here. If I'm using in a sales tab, then automatically whatever the tabs associated with the sales application, all are available here. So earlier what happened? We have only limited 5 to 6 objects, 5 to 6 tabs available. But now here what happened? We have all the tabs available here. Okay. So depending upon the app also, we can control whatever the tabs that you need to display. So here you can identify. So what is the app name you have selected? Whatever the app name you have selected. Okay. So these apps also, how many apps do you want to display and how many apps do you want to hide? So those settings also we can control in our profile level. If you enable visible checkbox, then automatically it is available. You can switch from one application to the another application. So here, right, if you select a app launcher, then automatically all the access, all the available applications that is going to display here. Then after you can select. Then after you can select. So if you make it default any of the tab, then any of the application, then you can simply select default radio button. Then automatically when you log in, it is going to display default application. Okay. So these settings we can perform in our profile level. So far, what are the permissions we discussed? CRUD permissions. Then after what we discussed? After CRUD, what we discussed? Respond me.
Tabs and default settings. Custom app settings.
Tab and then custom app settings. So these tab, what we have? We are having a default on, default off, The next one is tab hidden. In the case of custom app, what we can cover? So visible. The next one is default. So these two options we can cover under this custom app settings. So in profile level, mainly we are like covering these topics, and then we have few more. We have few more. If you click on cancel here, right, you will get remaining permissions as well. I'm like canceling this one. So here, right, we are having a page layout. We are having a page layout. And then we have one more option is there. So field level security. So then after we are having one more thing, record type access. So those settings not available here. Record type settings. So you need to configure these options manually, like one by one. So you cannot configure for the entire profile. You can like simply navigate to the corresponding update and then you can modify it. That's why while editing your profile, it won't available. You need to like navigate to the individual object wise. So within this profile, you can like change these three settings as well. These three settings as well. One is record type setting, and another one is page layout setting. Third one is field level security. So first we go with field level security. First we go with field level security. Where is this field level security? Yeah, field level security. Yesterday, when we creating in a field, right? When we creating in a any of the field. Now simply I'm navigating to the object manager, and then I'm trying to create one of the field here in our student object. So here I'm creating a field in our student object. So go simply navigating to the fields and relationships and then clicking on new. Maybe I'm giving some phone number or like some other field, whatever the field we want. So I'm selecting one phone field. And then simply clicking on next. So here I'm going to give the name as phone. So then after I'm like navigating to the next. So when I click on next, so day before yesterday and then before yesterday's class, we haven't discussed anything about like the checkboxes. After when we click on next, immediately we are navigating to the next. But today we will discuss it about when we click on next, what we need to do. So when we click on next, then what happened, right? So here we will get list of profiles here, whatever the standard profiles and whatever the custom profiles, everything available here. So if I would like to show and hide any field to the particular user, we can manage it here. We can manage it here. So in your object level, you are having any permissions, but if you would like to go with a particular field as well, particular field also, then we are having a field level security. These field level security you can enable and then disable in our profile level here. In our profile level here. So now, if I would like to disable these permissions to the bash 23, then simply what happened? I can simply unselect it. Whoever having bash 33 profile, they don't have access to the phone number. They don't have access to the phone number. If you would like to like hide any of the fields to the particular user, then simply you can navigate to the corresponding profile and then you can unselect the corresponding checkbox. Automatically, it is going to disappear to the corresponding user. So here we have like two things, visible and then read only. Visible and then read only. So read only in the sense, so whoever having a read only enabled, so he can just view the data. He cannot modify the data. So now I'm navigating to the one of the record, any one of the record, something like opportunities. Opportunities. We cannot modify few of the fields. So like who created and then when created. So those kind of fields you cannot modify. So now I'm open any one of the opportunity. If I navigate into the details. So here, right, for all the fields, we are having an edit option. If you select this one, right, then automatically, so these options you can modify. But coming to the created by / modified by, what happened? You can just view the data. You cannot modify these two fields data. Okay. So if you would like to give only read-only access, then what you need to do while creating your field, right? At the time, you need to enable read-only checkbox. If you enable read-only checkbox, you have only read-only access. You cannot modify anything within that field. So remaining fields you can modify. If you go for like other fields, tracking number, current generators, and delivery installation status, remaining all fields you can modify. So entire record you can modify, but you cannot modify created by / modified by. You cannot modify created by / modified by. So if you would like to give read-only access to the such kind of profiles, then simply what you can do, go to the field level security and then you can enable this checkbox. If you enable this checkbox, then automatically the field is read only to the particular user. Whoever like having this profile, for those user, it's simply read only. Okay. So who need like access, who don't want access, everything you can enable and then disable here. So for example, 10 profiles need an access and then 10 profiles doesn't need. So then simply you can enable all the 10 profiles and you can unselect remaining 10 profiles. Then after simply clicking on next. Then after simply you can click on next. Okay. Just give me a moment. Hello. So once you enable profile permissions, the field level security, then after you can go to the payload settings. These payload also we will discuss it today, and then simply clicking on save. Now field got created. So whoever like having an access, those users only they can access the field, phone number field, and remaining profiles, it's simply hidden for them. So once you create a field, and if you would like to modify field level security, once you create a field, and if you would like to modify field level security, then you can modify in two ways. One way is you can go to the profile, and then go to the corresponding object. So I would like to modify phone number, field level security, then simply you can navigate to the custom field level security, customized field level security, and then go to the appropriate object level, and then clicking on view. Then after you can enable and then disable the corresponding access level here. So now I'm like simply modifying here. Clicking on edit, and then you can enable and then disable the corresponding access settings here. Okay, so you need edit access and you need read access. So those kind of settings you can enable and then disable in our profile level field level security option. Field level security option. So if you would like to go with in another way, then you can simply navigate to the your object manager, and then go to the fields. Then after, simply navigate to the corresponding field. For which field do you want to provide an access? Then we have an option called set field level security. Set field level security. So here also you can provide access to the appropriate profiles. So here what happened? You will get the all the profiles. You will get the all the profiles, and then you can enable the corresponding access permissions. The corresponding access permissions. So if you go with the profile level, right? In this profile level, for one object, you can enable all the fields. You can enable all the fields of field level security. Okay. So these two ways you can provide field level security to the object fields. So these field level security you can enable for both standard fields as well as custom fields. Like within the standard objects, whatever the fields you have created, as well as in custom object, all the fields you can provide field level security. Whatever the fields do you want to show and whatever the fields do you want to hide, you can control it here. You can control it here. So these field level security, you can get it in profile. So for individual profiles, like a standard profile, standard objects as well as custom objects. So after this page layout, we are having a custom app settings, and then field level security also we will get it. It's loading slowly. Yeah, here we will get like a field level security. Within the field level security, for which object do you want to enable, you can simply navigate to the corresponding object, and then you can enable appropriate field level security for the particular profile. So then after, we are having one more feature, that is page layout. So these are like small topics only, but it is a basic topics we need to remember. So we will get work. Majority of the thing is like page layouts, and then these field level security, object level security. So in profile, you need to configure mainly these features. Okay, object level security, field level security, and then the next one is these page layouts. So now coming to the concept called page layout. What is this page layout? So if I'm creating any of the record, or like if I'm trying to view any of the record, by default what happened? So these fields got aligned. So amount, left side aligned, expected revenue, right side aligned, quantity, account industry. Here there is no fields, and then opportunity owner, close date, private, next step. So here also one field is missing, and then here also one field is missing. So here description occupied entire screen. Okay, so if you would like to align like this, so whatever the fields we have created in our yesterday's object, what happened? Whatever the like a student object we have created. So where is the student? Students. If I open any one of the student record, then automatically what happened? By default, it is displaying everything in one line. Everything in one line. But I don't want display in one line. I don't want display in one line. I would like to align left and right. I would like to align left and right. And depending upon priority, so these phone number field, I need to display in top, and then school, I need to display in top, and department, these all things, I would like to display in bottom. Sorry. I would like to display in bottom. So depending upon our requirement, how do you want to showcase to the end user? How do you want to showcase to the end user? you can control with the help of page layout. You can control with the help of these page layout. If you would like to modify alignment of your fields, then what you need to do, you can simply navigate to the your object. For which object do you wanna change layout? Do you wanna modify appearance? You can navigate to the corresponding object. Then after fields and relationships, we are having a page layout option is there. We are having page layout option is there. So with the help of these page layout, you can change the alignment. Now I'm selecting a page layout. So here we are having a student 33 layout. So I'm going to simply modifying these layout options. I'm like selecting the layout, and then I can modify whatever fields is important, and whatever the fields is low priority. So based on our requirement, you can align it. So it's simple drag and drop. These page layout, where do you want display? Select your field and then drag and drop where you want. So it is loading. Today's my network is very slow. That's why it's taking time to load. Check manager and then layout. Yeah. So now it is available. So here what happened? Whatever the fields, whatever the fields we have created, everything is available. And so here, so all the fields available here, whatever the order do you want to display, you can simply drag and drop. Now I'm like selecting this one. I would like to navigate. So simply you can drag and drop like this. So whatever the order do you want to display, you can simply drag and drop. No need to write anything here. So whatever the order you want, you can simply drag and drop. Phone number, and then I would like to go with the school information here. Okay. So then after country. Okay. So whatever the way you want to display, you can simply add and so you can simply drag and drop like this. So once you are done with your changes, then after click on save. Then after click on save. So here, right, we have like a multiple options. So if you see here, right, information, header visibility, and then system information, then after custom links. So we are having in a multiple sections here. We are having multiple sections here. Why we need these many sections? Why we need these many sections? If I'm navigating to the opportunity, not opportunity, some account. So if I open any one of the record, right? So here we will get like different sections. So fields. So if I navigate to the details, so within this detail, we will get different sections here. So revenue information. Okay, here what happened? So whatever the revenue associated with these account record, all the fields we are like grouping here. All the fields we are grouping here. So then after, so billing address, and then so we can group few like whatever the fields we want in a same place, then we can go with these grouping section. So if you would like to group any of the fields, those fields those grouping process we called as in a section. So here revenue information, similar way if you would like to go with some address information or maybe like a communication information. So in the case of communication, what we can do, we can add email field, phone number field, address. So these three fields we can add in communication section. Similar way in the case of like revenue. So revenue we can display whatever the like revenue generated and last year generation, how like a present generation, like loss, profit, everything we can add under revenue information. Okay. Similar way, do you want to group any other category fields? Everything we can perform with the help of these sections. We are having an information section, system information, custom links. Like this, we have like a different sections. So by default, Salesforce providing these three sections. And if you would like to create any new section, right, we are having a section option available here. Section option available here. Simply, you can drag and drop like this. You can drag and drop like this, and then whatever the name do you wanna provide, you can select here. Now I'm going to give communication. So then after we are having two pages available here. One is edit page, and second one is detail page. So what is this edit page, and then what is the detail page? So detail page in the sense once record is created, so the view form we called as detail page. So now it is in a detail page. So once record is created, whatever the view form we called as detail page. So now I'm trying to modify these. I'm trying to like modify these record. I'm trying to create a new record. So now I'm trying to create a new account record here. New account record here. Or maybe I'm trying to modify this existing account record. When I click on existing record, right? So when I try to click on like modifying existing record, it is displaying entire record in edit mode. Entire record in edit mode. So it is loading. So here what happened? Entire record in edit mode. So you can modify whatever the fields you want, and finally you can save these data. You can save these data. So here, right? These page, whatever the data available in edit mode, this page we called as edit page. This page we called as edit page. Whatever the view page we called as detail page. So detail page is different and edit page is different. If you would like to control your section, this section should be available only in detail page. Then you can enable this checkbox, and then you can unselect second checkbox. If I would like to display my section only in edit page, I don't want display in detail page, then what you can do, you can unselect this checkbox and enable second checkbox. So depending upon our requirement, where do you want to display this section, you can enable and then disable these two checkboxes. So edit page is basically when you are trying to create a record or when you are trying to modify the record, whatever the form available, this form we called as edit page. Once the record is created, once record is saved, whatever the data you are viewing, this view form we called as detail page. Okay. So where do you want to display? Where do you want to hide? You can control with these options, edit page and then delete page. So then after, so here, do you want to display all your fields in a single column or like two column? So you can control here. If you're using in one column, right, you need to like display all the fields in single column only. All the fields in single column only. If you're using in a two column, then you can display fields in left and right. Left and right. So depending upon our requirement, you can choose these columns. So then after left, right, and then top to down. So here, what is this left, right, and then what is this top down? So now I am entering the value in email. Then after, when I click on tab right, then automatically tab console moving to the left to right. So here, if I'm clicking on tab, then automatically what happened? It is moving like a left to right like this. So how your tab navigation should go? So those things also you can control here, left to right or top to bottom. So generally what happened, right? When someone trying to fill the form, they cannot like move, once they fill the data in our name, right? They simply click on tab. They never navigate to the like mouse cursor and then move to the each and every tab individual. They never go like this. So how they are going? So they simply, once they populate the value in account name, simply click on tab and then it navigate to the facts. Once they're done with the facts, then again simply click on tab, navigate to the next tab. So how these tab navigation should go, you can control with the help of these options, left to right or top to bottom. If you're using top to bottom, then what happened? First, it is going to fill all left side values, then it navigate to the right side values. So how do you want to go? You can control with these options. So now I am enabling this section. So communication, if you would like to modify this section, then what you can do, we are having a right side setting symbol is there. If you select this one, if you would like to modify anything, you can modify here. And if you would like to remove, we are having a remove option is there. You can remove the section. So now I would like to add these communication fields to the communication section. Okay. So whatever the fields, communication fields means email, and then so phone number, then after country. So I feel like these three fields are related to communication. So simply I'm adding like this. So once I'm done, I'm going to save this page layout. I'm going to save this page layout. Once I'm done with page layout changes, so we can verify in our student object, navigating to the students. And then I'm opening any one of the detail record. Then automatically what happened? It's not yet updated. Still it is saving. So that's why it is taking time to load. But generally what happened, whatever the layout we have specified, the corresponding layout reflect in our detail page, automatically data displaying in a proper alignment. Automatically data will display in proper alignment. Still it is in saving mode. That's why it's not yet reflected. Yeah, now it is saved. So we can verify now. So here what happened, right? Communication, one extra section is added in our page. And then whatever the fields do you want to display, all the fields aligned properly. So even if you try to create a new record, we have enabled this communication section for both the detail page and then edit page. So that's why even if you try to create a new record, at the time also, we will get communication section. Okay. So these sections you can control in our page level. So now in our profile level, why we need these payload settings. So generally what happened, right? We are going to hide few of the fields to the particular layout, to the particular layout. So here what we can do, right? We can create multiple layouts. We can create multiple layouts and then we can assign it to the profile level. We can assign it to the profile level. So depending upon our requirements, we may be like we may be like creating multiple page layouts, and whatever the layout, whatever the view they want, they can simply get it with the help of profile level. So here what happened, right? Few of the for the few of the profiles, I don't want to go with communication information. I would like to simply display only few fields. So for the student, whoever like accessing the student profile, so for these layout, they should have only like a basic information. They won't get like communication information. So now what I can do, I am going to add only few fields. So department. So then after student name, and then the next thing is student name. So I would like to display only these four fields. I would like to display only these four fields. Then what happened? I'm creating a new layout, and then I'm assigning it to the appropriate profile. So whenever any of the student trying to access other student data, right, they can get only these details. They won't get remaining communication information, data, birth, email, phone number. So all these information they never get. So we are like simply providing only basic details of student to the remaining other students. So if other student trying to access other student data, right, then automatically what happened? They will get only these values. They won't get a phone number, date of birth, email. So these values they won't get it. So if you would like to hide or like a display any particular fields with the help of layout, you can create a new layout, and those layout you are going to assign in our page layout. So you can modify whatever the layout you want. So based on that, it is going to display appropriate layout, and they are able to see only these corresponding fields, whatever the fields you have added in our page layout. Okay. So this is the way generally we can do in our page layout. Here we have one more option. If you would like to make it a read only or required, you can control with the help of page layout as well. So here, if you navigate to the any of the field, so in your right side corner, we will get like a setting symbol. If you click this one, so by default, if you would like to make it a required or read only, you can enable and then disable here. You can enable and then disable here. If I would like to make it required, simply I can enable this one. So these required is applicable only to the this particular role, this particular page layout. If they are using another page layout, it's not a mandatory. For only student page layout, it is required. So these kind of settings you can perform with the help of page layout. Okay. Any questions so far? So these page layouts, already we discussed something, right? How to create a new page layout, and then how to like add sections to the page layout. Then after what are the settings available in this page layout? Those concepts we discussed, and I'm going to discuss a few more things within this page layout. I'm trying to modify one of the existing page layout here. Okay, so the settings is basically what are the buttons that you need to display in UI. Okay, so here I'm able to see new opportunity, edit, new case, and then a few of the buttons in these drop down. Okay, so I would like to control. I would like to control what are the buttons that I need to display, and what are the buttons that I need to hide. So those button settings also we can control in our page layout. If you see here, right, in page layout, first section is fields, and second section is buttons. If you go with the buttons, whatever the buttons are available, you can simply drag and drop here. So if you would like to remove, or if you would like to arrange, so left to right or right to left, so whatever the buttons order do you want to follow, you can simply change the corresponding buttons order here. Okay, so these buttons also you can control it here. Along with that, we are having multiple options is there. Okay, so we'll go one by one. And the next important thing here is related list. Next important thing is related list here. So what is related list? So if I'm navigating to the account record, so within this account record, right, this account object is parent for multiple objects. This account object is parent for multiple objects. So here, account history is one of the child object. So external managed accounts, contacts, opportunities, case, notes and attachments, approval history. So these all are childs of our account object. So here, what happened, right? We can see whatever the child object data here, whatever the child object data here. So under these account, two contacts is there. So here I can create contact from our account. I can create contact from account record. Generally, what happened if you would like to create a contact record, you need to select contact tab in tab panel. Then after you can create the contact record. You can go to the contact tab and then select new button and then you can create the contact record. But the thing is, so if I am open account record, so contact is a child of account record, then what you can do within this related list, all the child objects displaying here. Okay, here I can navigate to the contact object and here I can create the new contact record as well. New contact record as well. So what type of buttons do you want to display here? And then what are the fields do you want to display? So here, all the contact fields not displaying here. Only whatever the important fields that is displaying here. And then whatever the like buttons, like a create of contact or like a delete of contact. So those buttons also displaying here. So these field information as well as the button settings, those we can control in our related list. We can control in our related list. So our student object is a child object. So it is not acting as a parent for any other objects. So that's why what we can do, we can go for one of the parent object. One of the parent object. School is in a parent object. School is a parent object. So now I'm navigating to the school and then I'm navigating to the page layouts. School is a parent for student object. So that's why I'm navigating to the school object and then within the school navigating to the page layout and then opening the school layout here. So here I can modify related list settings. So here, right, we are having a related list. So notes and attachments, students. So these two are like a childs. That's why we are getting the corresponding student information here. If you're using school record, right, if you open any of the school record, right, by default, we are getting only student name only. If you open any of the school record, by default in related list, you will get only school name. You won't get remaining other fields here. If you see here, right, you will get only student name. You will get only student name. You are not getting remaining fields. And you here we have a new button and here we have like some edit and delete buttons options available here. So now I would like to change the view. So I would like to display student phone number, student email in my parent account as well, parent record as well. If I open any of the school, by default, I would like to display student name as well as a student email, student phone number in our parent object. Then what you can do, go to your parent object and then simply navigate to the corresponding layout and then go to the appropriate related list. So here I would like to modify the students. So that's why I'm like simply navigating to the student related list and then click on these setting symbol. When we click on setting symbol, then automatically appropriate properties that is going to open. So here you can change whatever the fields do you want to display. So now I would like to display email. So I'm selecting email field and then adding. So then after phone field. Okay. And then I would like to display some name field as well, whatever the name. So name field. So these name field I would like to display first. So I'm like simply click on this up button. Then automatically it is going to display in top. I'm removing this number. So as of now, what happened, right? We are displaying student name, email, and then phone number. So then after, so what is the order do you want to display? So here, if we have like only 2 records, that's why it is displaying one by one. So no issue here. But the thing is, if I'm having 100 child records, within the school, I have 100 students or maybe 1000 students. So at the time, how do you want to display those 1000 students? So we have an option called sort by. So default are like whatever the fields available here, right? You can select any one of the field. You can select any one of the field. I would like to sort based on the student name. Simply you can select that one, and then whatever the sorting order do you want to display, you can select ascending or descending. Automatically it is going to display in it is going to display in a sorting order based on the student name. So now when you open any of the school record, automatically all student records that is going to display in sorting order based on the student name. So for this purpose, what we did, we are navigating to the parent object. If you would like to modify related list settings, okay, keep in mind, if you would like to modify related list settings, then what you need to do, you need to navigate to the parent object page layout and then navigate to the corresponding object. For which object do you want to modify that object related list, and click on setting symbol. Then after, whatever the fields do you want to display, you can add it here. You can select the field and then click on add, then automatically selected fields available here. If you would like to change the order, you can select the field and then you can click on up and down. Automatically it will change the orders. Along with this, we are having a sort by. So this sort by is basically for what type of sorting order do you want to follow, you can specify with these fields. So ascending and then descending. So then after, I would like to control the fields here, buttons here. So by default, these button section got hidden. If you click on this plus symbol, automatically this button symbol that is going to enable. So now I would like to display new and then change owner, then it is going to available. So otherwise, if you unselect this one, these new button, it won't available. This new button, it won't available. Okay. So if you would like to change these button settings, you can simply select a button and then you can modify it here. So now I'm done with this one and I'm going to click on save. I'm going to click on save. So then automatically these three fields that is going to available in our student reader list in a school object. Now I'm simply refreshing our screen, refreshing our school record. Navigating to the reader list. So within the reader list, so earlier we have only a student number, but now we have student name, email, and then phone number, and it is sorted based on the student name. Okay, so these all settings available in our page layout only. So within the page layout, what we can configure? We can configure fields, we can configure sections. So then after, we can configure field read only and then required. So then after, related list settings, buttons. So these all are we can configure in our page layout. Okay. So we have few more things also there, quick actions and all those things. So those we can discuss later. So we are having quick actions, mobile actions, expanded lookups. So these are we can discuss it later. But as of now, what we have covered, fields, buttons, and then related list. Okay. So these related list is basically whatever the objects as a child object for this school object, all the child objects available here, all the child objects available here. So if you would like to show and hide your child object, you can simply unselect this one. Automatically it is going to hide it. So if you would like to add, now simply you can drag and drop. Now I would like to drag and drop these approval history. So related list. So simply drag and drop here, and then whatever the fields do you want to add and remove, you can simply modify it here. So some of the related list field by default that is hidden. So if you would like to add, you can simply go to the related list and then you can add here. Okay. And then simply click on save. If you save, these new related list that is going to available. So these settings we can configure in our page layout level. Okay. So in profile, right? These layouts also we can configure. So how we can change layouts in our profile level? So we have created two layouts for our student object, right? Now I would like to change layout to the corresponding profile. So in this profile, I would like to change layout for student 33 object. So if you would like to change in profile level, you can change in two places. One place is navigate to the profile. Within the profile, navigate to the page layout and then corresponding object. Here we are having a view assignment. View assignment. With the help of these option, you can change the page layout settings. So otherwise, right, what you can do, you can navigate to the corresponding object, and then navigate to the layouts. So here we have an option called page layout assignment. We have an option called page layout assignment. Similar way, field level security, like how we are going to change in object level, you navigate to the field and then go to the set field level security option. Otherwise, in profile level, page layout, field level security, and then go to the appropriate object name and then click on view assignment and then you can modify it. Similar way, layout assignment also you can do from two places. One place is go to the profile and then layout and appropriate object name and then view assignment. Then after you can modify. Otherwise, you can go to the page layouts. Within the layouts also, you can get the page layout assignment and you can modify. So now I would like to assign it from profile. So even if you click on view assignment in profile level, or if you click on page layout assignment, it will navigate to the same page only. So now I'm like simply select this option, view assignment. So here you can change the layout settings. So if I would like to enable a layout for a specific profile, you can simply enable or disable here. So by default, what happened? For all the profiles, student 33 layout assigned. Student 33 layout assigned. So my user is system administrator user. For system administrator user, I would like to change the layout. By default, student 33 layout assigned. So, but we have created two layouts. One layout is a student 33 and another one is student. I would like to assign student layout to the system administrator profile. Then what I can do, I can simply click on edit assignment and then so go to the appropriate profile. For the system administrator, I am selecting this record. Then after navigating to the top, here you can select which layout do you want to assign. I am assigning it to the student layout. Automatically layout got updated. Then after simply click on save. If you click on save, right, student layout assigned to the system administrator profile. So by default, what we are getting, so we are getting all the fields. We are getting all the fields. If you are using a student 33 layout, by default, we are getting all the fields. Now I'm trying to navigate to the student object, and I'm trying to get the corresponding one of the record here. Then we'll see what layout we are getting. Now I'm opening one of the record. So here what happened? We can see only 5 fields. We can see only 5 fields. Why? Because we have assigned student layout. Within the student layout, we hidden complete communication section. So earlier in student 33, what happened? We have created one a layout, one section, communication section. Within the communication section, we are displaying email, phone number, date of birth, and remaining fields. But in student layout, we are displaying only 5 fields. That's why even I'm having a system administrator profile, even I have a complete access based on my profile layout assignment, I am able to see only 5 fields. Okay. So depending upon the users, right? So different users, they can play different types of activities, right? Based on their activities, what they can do, we can show and hide fields like this. We can show and hide fields like this. So whatever the role they are going to play. So based on that, we can hidden few fields. For example, right? If you join any of the company, so each and every employee having compensation, salary. So salary field should be visible to the only HRs and then finance team. For remaining people, they can view our data, but they cannot view our salary. Okay. So if you would like to hide, right, then what we can do, simply we can hide the corresponding salary section to the page layout. Then automatically we will get remaining fields except salary section. Whoever having HR profile, for them we can showcase to the salary section. So these kind of activities we can perform with the help of page layouts. Okay. So these layout assignment you can do in our profile level as well as in our object level. You can simply navigate to the corresponding profile and then simply click on edit assignment. Then after select appropriate profile and select the page layout, click on save, automatically layouts got assigned. So now the thing is, I would like to go with one more topic. So far, what we have covered in profile level, custom app. After this one, what we discussed in profile level, what permissions we discussed? After the custom app, what we discussed?
Field level security for profiles.
Field level security. And then?
And page layout settings.
Page layout assignment. And anything else we discussed?
Also multiple page layout. The page.
Yeah, multiple page layouts. Like that is fine. That is also come under layout settings only. Related list also come under layouts only. What I'm asking is in profile permissions.
Record type settings.
Record type settings we haven't discussed, but that we're going to discuss. Record type settings. Okay. So in page layout, like in our profile level, we have these many options. So first we go with the page layouts and then field level security. So then after custom app settings already we discussed, and then tab settings, default on, off, hidden. So then after record type settings that we're going to discuss it now. And then administrative permissions, you can ignore this one at this moment. General user permissions also, you can ignore at this moment. Then after object level, create permissions. So session settings, password policies, login hours, login IP ranges, and then so Apex classes and the Visual Post Pages access as well. So these we are going to discuss in our next classes. Apex class and Visual Post Page access. So these all are we can configure. These are security we can configure under profile level. Okay. So now you may be having some idea. So what is profile? Profile is simply set of rules. What they can do in Salesforce account. Okay, here you can define all the settings in profile level. And when we creating any new user, right, at the time, we are going to assign these profile to the corresponding user. Okay, so if you are assigning these profile, right, then whatever the settings we have enabled, we give like a read access to the account object, read access to the contact object. So this they can only view the data. They cannot modify the data. Okay, so these kind of settings we can enable in profile level and assign to the user. Okay, so now coming to the last topic in our profile level, that is record type settings. So before going to the record type, so like you may be observe Flipkart application or Amazon application, so or maybe Best Buy, whatever it may be. So the thing is, I'm having one of the product, one of the object called product. Okay, so these product in these product, for example, Samsung company, they can sell mobiles, and they can sell like air conditioners. They can sell washing machine, and so laptops, refrigerator. So then after So if I go with some other products, maybe like Samsung having multiple home appliances, right? Multiple products, they are going to sell it. The thing is, when you open mobile, what type of data you will get in your screen? If I'm selecting mobile, so if you open Amazon.com and if you're like trying to select any of the mobile from Samsung, what you will get it? What kind of information you will get it? Just in general, it's not like any complex. If you open any of the mobile in Amazon.com, right? So what you will get it?
The mobile information.
Mobile information, like so the model name, then after
Yeah.
like what's the RAM, and then
So,
so internal storage, so then after processor, and so screen size. Okay, so then after like warranty period, so camera pixel, okay, front camera, back camera pixel, so network compatibility. So these all features available. So now the thing is, some of the fields I'm going to specify here. So the fields is basically, if you're not speaking, please keep on mute. Okay, so here, so mobile price, so then after manufacture, and then so model, so then after I'm having like few other things, year of manufacture here, so then after camera and RAM, processor. Okay, if I go with television, so for television also we have a common fields called price, and then manufacture, so model also common, then after year also common. So then TV having a screen size, so and then screen type, screen type. So we have like a different other fields, screen type, and then again it's like what is it is compatible with network or not, network compatibility, compatibility. So these are the fields for air conditioners. So first fields are common, like model and then year. So these are common, and then next is capacity. So then after so features, and then so it is a heater or like a window or split or window. So these kind of fields available. In the case of washing machine, so first fields are common, then after capacity or front load or top load, these kind of features. Laptop, for laptop also, like we are getting some common fields, and then remaining is basically like again RAM and processor. Okay, so then after screen size. So in mobile also we are having a screen size, mobile TV, TV also screen size option is there. Okay, laptop screen size. So then after internal storage, internal storage. So these internal storage also available in mobile.
Color, color of the phone.
Yeah, storage. Color option is common for all the products. Why? Because for each and every product we are For maybe TV, I think no color. But remaining air conditioner, we need color, as well as washing machine, we need color. Ladies is always ladies. They are like more thinking about colors only. Okay. For any product, they are thinking about colors. Okay. Price, manufacture, model year, in the case of refrigerator, and the color. So then after here also capacity. And then maybe like few other fields like coils and all those things. So we are having these options. Now the thing is, they have only one object. They have only one object. So the object is basically product. Object is basically product. But if I'm choosing mobile, then I need to display only these fields. If I would like to go with the TV, I need to display only these fields. Okay, when I'm trying to when I'm trying to place any order, if I'm choosing mobile, then I need to display only these fields. If I'm choosing TV, I need to display only these fields. But all these fields are available in only single object. So here we have some common fields and we have some different fields. I would like to display these fields based on the product what I have selected. If I'm choosing mobile, then I need to display these fields. If I'm choosing washing machine, then I need to display these fields. So as of our topic so far, what we have covered, so how can we display like this? Is there any option?
Using pick list.
Pick list, how you are going to display different fields?
Just by initializing manually, like for mobile, for the product we are using a pick list, and then similarly for internal storage or something, we are using another pick list.
Yeah, we can display the pick list, we can display the options, but what about remaining fields like screen type? Screen type is only for TV. Okay, and so splitter window. So this field is should be available only for air conditioner, and front load, top load, it should be only for washing machine. Okay, how you are going to display different fields based on your selection? Just think it. With our previous topics, we can achieve this one, what we have covered. So how we are going to achieve this requirement?
We create different page layouts based on the one page layout.
Exactly. So with the help of page layouts, we can create multiple layouts: mobile layout, TV layout, air conditioner layout, washing machine layout, laptops, refrigerator. For each and every product, you can create different layout. Okay. So based on your layout setting, you can get the appropriate fields in your UI. So the thing is, here we have one restriction with our layouts. So for example, I am using in my fields and relationships, we have a country. It is its country. Yeah, country. So these countries, India, USA, UAE, Canada, Australia. I have added. My requirement is basically, I would like to control these options as well. Whatever the options available in pick list, these options also I would like to control. So if I'm using page layout, only fields, whatever the fields do you want to display, that you can control it. But the thing is, my requirement is basically, I would like to control these pick list options as well. So here we have some common fields: capacity, or like camera, okay, or RAM, or processor. So these fields are common for multiple objects. So mobile, and then so laptops, RAM is there, and then processor is there. Then after internal storage is there, screen size is there. Screen size is again is a common for three fields: mobile, TV, and then laptops. Okay, it is a common for three fields. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare one of the pick list like this. The pick list is basically RAM. So it's like a 1 GB or like a 2 GB and then a 3 GB. So, or maybe like a 2, 4, then after 8, 16, 32, like this. So similar way, in the case of like internal storage, I'm going to prepare a pick list like this. Internal storage. The pick list is basically so 64 GB, 64, and then 128, then after 256, and then 512, 1024, 1 TB. So these kind of internal storage is there. So then after screen size. So for the screen size, I'm going to give an options like 5.5 inches, and then so 6.7. So then after for the laptops, I'm going to give the screen size is 13 inches, and then 14 inches, 15 inches, 16 inches for the laptop. And for television, I'm going to give the 32 inches, and then I'm going to give the screen size is 40 inches, and then 49, 50, 55, 60, and then 65. So 70. So these kind of options available in screen size. So I'm creating pick list, RAM, internal storage, screen size. So here, these are the options of pick list. These are the options of pick list. So now my requirement is when I'm choosing mobile, then automatically mobile associated values only should display in these options. Okay, so with the page layout, what we can do, we can control these field values. We can control these field values, but you cannot control pick list options. With the page layout, you can control only fields, what you are going to display, but you cannot control pick list options. But now my requirement is basically, I need to control pick list options as well. If I'm choosing mobile, then only I would like to go with 1, 2, 4, and then 8 up to here only. And internal storage is 64 and then 128 only for the mobiles I would like to display. And in the case of like mobile, we go with 5.5 and then 6.7 only. So there is no mobile with 13 inches and then 14 inches. So there is a different category. So if I open a mobile, screen size should be 5.5 and then 6.7. Okay. If I open a laptop, then it should be like 8, 16, 32, and then 256, 512, 1024 internal storage. Then after 13, 14, 15, 16, these options should display. If I open a TV, at the time I need to display the corresponding screen size is basically 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. These kind of features I need to display. Okay, these kind of options I need to display. Same pick list option, I need to control whatever the options that I need to display and whatever the options that I need to hide. So those things we need to discuss. Okay. So if you would like to achieve this requirement, right, we should go with record type. We should go with record type. With these record type settings, we can control pick list options. We can control pick list options. And with these record type, we can control page layouts as well. We can control page layouts as well. So now I'm trying to create one of the layout here. So simply what I can do, I'm trying to create one of the account record here. When I'm choosing new account record, right, then automatically what happens, I'm getting in different options here. When I'm trying to create a student record, when I'm trying to create a student record, by default, it is landing to the edit page, But when I'm choosing an account object, when I'm trying to create an account record, so here what happened, I'm getting multiple options here. What is this option? So here it is select record type. whenever you are trying to create a new record, then by default, it is asking record type selection. So here I'm going to display all the options here. So what are the options? Like mobile, TV, air conditioner, washing machine. So all these options I'm going to display it here. Based on my selection, when I select mobile and I click on next, automatically it is going to display only mobile related fields. If I'm selecting air conditioner, it is going to display only air conditioner related fields. Okay, so this we can achieve with the help of record type settings. This we can achieve with the help of record type settings. And within these record type settings, what we can control? We can control displaying of page layouts along with the pick list options. So in our interviews also, you will get a question like this. Okay, so what we can do with record types? Then simply what we can say. So with the help of record types, we can display different layouts along with the different pick list options. If I'm choosing a mobile record type, then I'm going to get the only mobile related pick list options. If I'm selecting a TV, then I'm going to get the only TV related pick list options. So these we can control with the help of record type. So now what we can do, I'm going to create one of the record type. Okay. So I'm creating record type in student object, like the student belongs to AP, the student belongs to some like India or like US, I would like to control. So for the purpose, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a record type in our student object. But it is your requirement. You need to complete as an assignment. For today, you need to create one of the object as a Samsung, or maybe like a Samsung product. Within that, you need to create these fields and along with these options. Then after, you need to create record types properly. Okay, I'm going to give one sample record type. Then after, you need to do these exercise. Okay, so now I'm like creating a record type in our student object. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a record type. The record type is basically India or US student. If I'm choosing an India, then I need to get only India record type here. So India option only. So here we have a drop down. So here I need to get only India. If I'm choosing a USA record type, I need to get only USA. If I'm choosing some different record type UAE, I need to get only UAE in this drop down. I'm not changing remaining thing. I'm just changing only these options here. So for the purpose, what I can do, I'm going to simply create one field, Aadhaar number and an SSN number. So to differentiate two different layouts, I'm going to create two different fields here, Aadhaar number and then SSN. SSN for like US and then Aadhaar number for India. Fields and relationships. I'm going to create two different fields. One is Aadhaar number and another one is SSN. I'm simply clicking on new. So if I go with Aadhaar, what type of data type I need to select here? I need to store Aadhaar number for the student. What data type I need to select here?
Text.
So I'm going to use Aadhaar text. I'm going to specify Aadhaar length. So 12 characters. So for safe side, I'm going to give 20 characters. Clicking on next. And then I'm going to enable for all the profiles. So earlier we haven't discussed, but already today we have covered this topic, right? So here I need to give read-only access or like visible access to the profile. So that we need to enable it here. I'm enabling for all the profiles, and I'm not giving read-only access. I'm giving edit access. That's why I haven't selected these read-only checkbox. And then click on next. So here, for which layout do you want to add? You can enable here. So for example, if you unselect this checkbox, right, then what happened? It won't available for this particular layout. Okay, so now I'm adding my field to the both the layouts, and then I'm clicking on save and new. I need to create one more field, right? That's why I'm clicking on save and new. So here I'm going to create one more field, SSN. For SSN, what I need to select here? Respond it.
Number of text in.
So here number of text. So I'm going to give SSN. So length I'm giving 20 characters. Again clicking on next. Under profile permissions, I gave for all the profiles, and simply saving these two fields, adding to the page layout. So now what I can do, I'm going to create two different layouts. One is for India and one is for USA. So I'm cloning the creating a new layout. So whatever the existing layout, these layout, I'm going to simply clone it. Clone in the sense we are copying. So I'm going to use save as. So I'm creating India. Creating a layout here. So within this layout, I don't want display for the India layout. I don't want display SSN. Simply, I'm removing SSN here and then clicking on save. So now for the India layout, we are having Aadhaar number. I'm going to create one more layout for the USA. I'm again cloning from the student layout. Save as USA. And then, so for this USA layout, I'm going to remove Aadhaar number. SSN, I'm displaying. And then simply clicking on save. So now, in order to display SSN number and Aadhaar number separately for two different layouts, I have created two different layouts. One is India and then another one is USA. My next requirement is when I open these record layout at the time. So for country, for USA, you should display only USA. Should not contain any other country options. If I open India, you should display only India. You should not contain any other option in this country pick list. For that, what I'm going to do? So I'm going to create record type here. After the page layout, we are having a record type option is there. I'm creating a record type here. So by default, there is no record type, and I'm going to create new record type. So I'm going to keep it like India. And then, so for which profile do you need to enable? You need to enable for those profiles. So you are creating first profile, right? By default, it is available for all the profile, and by default, it is default. And then once you create the profile, right, you need to active. So if it is active, then only these record type is for accessible. Otherwise, it won't. Now I'm like simply selecting active. Then after, I'm going to save these record type. Is the save button. Yeah, I'm clicking on next here. Enabling for the profiles and then clicking on next. So here for the India profile, like what are the layout we need to assign? For the India record type, right, I'm going to assign India layout. So here, when we click on next, immediately it is asking the page layout. Immediately it is asking, when you choose India record type, what are the layout that you need to display? So for the India layout, for all the profiles, I would like to display India layout. India layout. Once I am done with selection, and then simply clicking on save. So one record type is created. India record type got created. It's creating duplicate. I clicked on multiple times. That's why. So India record type got created. Now I need to change the country settings. For that, what I need to click on India. So then after, whatever the pick list fields available within this object, all the pick list by default that is going to display in record type. By default that is going to display in record type. So here country and department, these two are pick list. So that's why by default we got this field. By default we got these two fields here. So now for India, I need to display only India. So remaining options I need to hide. So that's why I'm like simply clicking on edit option. Then automatically all the options by default available here. I'm going to unselect remaining options. I'm going to unselect remaining options and then clicking on save button. So when we click on the save button, right, then automatically what happened for these India record type, for the country, we have only India option. So remaining options automatically hide. So similar way, I am going to create a USA record type. I am going to create USA record type here. New. And I'm creating in a USA and I'm going to make it active. So available for all the profiles and clicking on next. For the USA, we need to assign USA layout. So here I'm going to assign USA layout. Clicking on save. For the USA, what we need to do? We need to display only USA as a country option. So once a record type is created, just navigate to the corresponding record type and then click on pick list. For which pick list do you want to modify? You can simply select the appropriate pick list and then remove other options. So now I'm going to remove other options apart from this USA and then simply click on save. Then automatically what happened? Only USA that is going to available. So now we have created, we are done with all this setup. We have created two layouts. We have created two pick list, two record types, and then layout assignment also completed for this one. So now I am trying to create in a new record here. I am trying to create new student record here. So then we'll see what will happen. So now I am trying to create new record, a new student record here. So here earlier what happened? By default it is landing to the edit page. But now after we created record type, what happened? It is asking India or USA. India or USA. If I'm using India, then what happened? It is going to display only Aadhaar and then country is only India. There is no other options within the pick list and whatever the remaining fields available in the layout, by default that is displayed. If I'm choosing USA, so then automatically what happened? It is going to display only USA country and then SSN field So this is the way we can manage, we can hide and show different options within our layout. Okay. So now what we can control these record types in our profile level. So simple thing. So what type of record types do you want to enable for this profile? So I don't want give all the record types to the particular profile, or I would like to give the record type to the profile. So those we can control in our profile level. So where is this record type settings? So here, right now we are getting two record types, but I don't want USA record type for the particular profile. So for this profile, I don't want USA record type access. I need only India record type access. Then what you can do, simply go to the your profile level and go to the record type settings, and next navigate to the appropriate object. So custom settings, tab settings, and then record type settings. So here our object is basically students. Yeah, students. By default, we have enabled India and then USA. Okay, but I'm going to disable one of the option. So I'm going to disable USA for this profile. Then simply what I can do, I'm like clicking on edit. When I click on edit, it will navigate to the corresponding screen. Whatever the record type do you want to provide, you can enable, and then other record type, you can simply remove this one. So then automatically what happened, whoever creating the student records with this profile, by default they are landing to the India record type. Why? Because we have removed USA record type for this particular profile. So these we can achieve with the help of record type and then profile. Okay. Any questions so far? Record type also one of the important topic in our interviews. So generally we'll get a question like this: how you are going to manage different layouts to the end user? How you are going to manage different layouts to the end user? Then simply what we can say, with the help of different page layouts with the record type, we can manage. Okay. So this we can do. So for the today's assignment, what you need to do? So create one of the custom object called product. So whatever the fields we discussed, right? So you maybe like go to some Amazon or like Best Buy, whatever the website you want. So just go to that website and then identify the features, create common fields, and then common pick list. Then after, arrange these options with the help of record types. So at least try to create 6 to 7 record types so that you will get practice, and then you can get the layout assignment. Then after, you can get the different sections in page layouts. All those topics cover. Okay, just go to that and then prepare these product are like a Samsung company products. So simply create an object like that and then prepare record types and all those things.